And we are back for the card merchant Dunedin Store Champs finals of this Living Legend tournament. Now, we have Ben Thomas back on chain, who has been showing an absolutely dominant performance with the numbers that this chain deck can throw out. And Hamish, as you have seen, absolute powerhouse in disrupting, making those correct calculations to slow down all the aggro decks that have come before him so far. Can he do it again? One more time against Ben's chain?
There's a lot that Ben is going to have to pull off here. He's going to have to play out all of his complicated chain lines, but he's also going to have to do this through disruption. A lot of mental work, especially at the end of the day when you're probably feeling fatigued. So lots of pressure on Ben to keep it together and play out these lines. Whereas Hamish, maybe it's a little bit more face up the key moments to play your interaction. So as long as you keep that card in arsenal and get yourself set up, it's probably a lot more face up for him being able to pick his moments. Ben's going to have to really, really lock in.
Yeah, just that final round of a long tournament like this. Even I'm feeling fatigued and I'm just chilling, just commentating. Here we go, fist bumps extended, getting straight into it. Let's see who's on the play.
Now, I honestly feel like it's probably favored in Icelander's direction. That disruption is just so good at stopping chain from, the hypothermias can stop stuff, the channel lakes can stop stuff. Lots of ways things can go horribly wrong for Ben. So we're going to start with Painful Passage, new card from Super Slam, allowing him to banish a Bounding Demigod from his hand, which he's now able to play using Soul Shackles. So he's going to use Chain's ability to give this Bounding Demigod go again. It's going to come in for 7. That's going to meet some blocks
Yeah,
from Hamish, just leaking a little bit of damage through on the first turn.
very good looking here. Nothing too crazy to set up. Ideally, he would have seen some cards like um, thinking can take him up to the rune chance, but getting all the cards out of his hand, coming in with this Rosetta for 2/2, especially if Hamish didn't have any blocks, by trying to get all the cards.
And getting an Arsenal. Very clean start from Ben. Also seeing quite an interesting card there, Scour being blocked with. That card, when timed correctly, can be crazy when it blows up potentially all of these Rune Chants or Soul Shackles. Now, strong start from Hamish. We're going to go straight out of the gate with either Ice Vein, able to, if it connects, it's going to rip cards out. It's going to rip a card out of Ben's hand, and also putting a potential card in Arsenal. Nice, nice starter. That's exactly what we want to see.
Yeah,
Now,
just a good solid piece of disruption coming in here. Um, Ben
good thing,
already just feeling the pressure a little bit.
good thing for Ben is he's got Arcane Barrier 3 built into the equipment he naturally uses. So, like, he's got the ability to play defensively if he needs, but I think his game plan is just going to be try and set up these big turns. Arsenal's a card. Over to Ben. Soul Shackle triggers. Again, Icelander really being able to capitalize off of the windows to respond here before anyone gets to take a game action. Soul Shackle resolves. We're going to hit nothing here. That's okay. It's the classic Ben thing. Who is going to take this home? Who is going to become the store champion and get that juicy flight all the way up to LSS HQ for the special treatment? Activate chain, create a soul shackle, play read the runes, which will create 3 rune chants. Let's go again.
Yeah, he will need to really try pressure if he can here. Really needs to push some damage. Try keep Hamish off cards if he can. Try disrupt
That's a
as
great,
much as possible.
that's a great way to do it with Deadwood Dirge eating a soul shackle in order to create 3 more rune chants. Although actually it looks like he's making 2 rune chants there. Sonata Galaxia. Going to search for an aura, but this is going to be met with a frosting in response. It looks like Ben chose to destroy a rune chant to make 3 more instead of deleting one of his soul shackles. So clearly looking to build up that soul shackles as hard as he can to try and hit some rune gates off the top. So valuing the extra soul shackles over that extra rune chant here, knowing that he doesn't really need the full six, he's going to search out Malefic Incantation from his deck. 3 counters on board. He does have Frostbite to deal with now. But, I think he's also happy just setting up. He's going to go to the end of his turn. We've got a whole bunch of rune chants. Got a card in arsenal. He's ready to pop off. Another Ether Ice Vein from Hamish. Fuse. Going to rip a card out of Ben's hand.
Yeah, Hamish seeing the key disruption pieces he needs sort of early, making sure he's always throwing out some arcane damage and some disruption, so Ben can't just keep all the cards that he wants.
This is where something like a well-timed scour would just be like back-breaking. He's going to discard Deadwood Dirge here. Card in arsenal. Over to Ben. Can he make use of all of his setup? Soul Shackles. Any response from Hamish before the Soul Shackles? Looks like we are going to throw a card out. We're going to throw Cold Snap, which is going to give a Frostbite and also force Ben to either A1 or have his arsenal frozen this turn. So he is going to have to decide if he wants to pay one now before his Soul Shackles revolve. He's going to respond with Art of War in response before the
Absolute power
Frostbite
play.
activates, allowing him to draw some cards, just deciding on whether he wants to go again or +1.
Yeah, you love to see here. Ben had the blue, Ben had the Art of War, is going to get a bunch of card advantage here. And then
He's
if he
going to
also
banish
hits a
Widespread
bunch of playable,
Annihilation, draw 2 cards.
so good.
That Widespread's absolutely playable, and now
And then
it's
he's
up to him
also,
whether he wants to decide to pay this one.
yeah,
Frostbite resolves.
if deciding whether he needs the arsenal for this turn.
Looks like this card is resolved, and Ben has potentially elected not to pay the one because Hamish has now drawn a card from Cold Snap. So that arsenal is now frozen. Ben deciding that he needs the resource more than he needs the arsenal card on this turn. So that Widespread potentially coming in. The only thing is, there's not really too much other disruption that he has to face this turn other than potentially Blizzard from hand. So maybe he's just having a quick think about that.
Yeah, and it'll also depend on what he's hitting off the chain banishes here. So just thinking through his options, yep, he's going to allow that arsenal to be frozen. And then let's see if he hits anything off the top. Oh,
So
creates another shackle?
looks like we didn't resolve the shackles here, but that's okay. So he's got what we're doing here is we're activating chain, paying 1, and then coming in
Yep.
with the Widespread Annihilation, which is going to meet a Blizzard. I'm sure that these shackles will get resolved. And if not, look, it is
Yeah,
what it is. It's been a long day, folks. Been a long day for everyone. But the
yeah,
Blizzard in response is going to force Ben to either pay 2 or lose Go Again on this card. And of course, the extra Frostbite from Blizzard is a huge pickup. He's got a blue though, so he's going to pay for it. So still being able to come in for 7 and 5, and if any damage is dealt, he's gonna be able to banish a card from Iceland's hand. That's gonna make it really difficult for Hamish to keep an arsenal.
yeah. Having just a little bit of technical difficulties here. Hopefully it gets sorted soon. All right, there you go. And then, man, I really want to see what Ben could have, would have, should have hit off these shackles.
Okay, so it looks like these rune chants have been resolved.
Yeah. Now 7 physical still on the stack.
And we're making 1 from Malefic Incantation. That's worth noting as well. Sink Below comes down to block because he knows that he's going to potentially have to banish a card from hand. There's no point trying to arsenal anything.
Yeah.
And then he's going to activate Waning Moon before this Widespread rips the card out of his hand. So Chain actually doing some good work here to make sure that Hamish cannot keep a card for his arsenal. So he's going to activate Waning
Yeah.
Moon to try and do a little bit of damage. Now, will Ben take it, or will he just use these spare resources to cover it up?
Man, Ben has the option to
He'll
prevent it, and he does elect to do so, prevent 2. So what's the follow-up?
Now, what can he do next? His Arsenal is frozen. He does have a Frostbite. He could pitch a card to Rosetta Thorn here. Cheek in some damage. And resolve the widespread. And I think actually widespread. So it looks like he's going to pitch a card. He's got a yellow, which is good because that's just enough to be able to pay for Rosetta Thorn under a Frostbite.
Yeah, looks like they just quickly.
Um, I think potentially Ben's missed a window here because since he was dealt damage from Waning Moon, the widespread annihilation actually would banish a card from him as well. Because when the combat, unless he doesn't close the combat chain,
Yeah, yeah.
if he doesn't close the
Looks like
combat
he
chain,
didn't
then
close it just yet.
that might just be what they're resolving here, folks. So it looks like they're just having a
Yeah,
check there because widespread annihilation, when the combat chain closes, each hero who lost life banishes a card from their hand. So Hamish had to tank his whole hand in, or when that combat chain closed, he would have banished a card. Ben, because he took damage from Waning Moon, also would have to do that, but it seems that he didn't close the combat chain. So I think we're just making sure we wind that back, and also maybe even just taking a cheeky peek at the missed shackle banishes there. Again, it's a
yeah,
long day, folks. So new things to
yeah,
resolve, but nothing that our highly skilled judge team can't resolve.
yeah. Nothing quite like being exhausted after a very long tournament and then having to verse Icelander with all these frostbites, instant speeds, all these triggers on the stack. So, um, giving them a little bit of leniency here, very difficult to play at this sort of level, at the end of a day like this. But man, Chain still looking very strong. Like the amount of damage and disruption, just the ability to keep Icelander off of an arsenal, so strong.
Huge if big.
Yeah. So this turn looking like a very good start for Ben. I mean, man, the more I see of this chain deck, the more I just want to play some RuneGate cards. I mean, banishing cards, essentially free card draw, playing them for free without pitching because you have rune charts. That feels pretty good.
Pretty good indeed. Yeah. But still, like a lot of ways for Chain to play around. Like even stuff like Hypothermia, while it can remove the go again from Shackle, Spellbound Creepers can get around it. Edward Dirge can get around it. So unlike
Yeah.
Briar, Chain actually has a whole bunch of other ways around this Icelander disruption. So we will find out very shortly who's going to be the Store Championship champion of stores in this
Yeah.
final match.
Yeah. Very excited to see how this will resolve. It'll be very interesting to see who takes it, who gets to come up to the LSS office for another round of games against all the other store champs. All right, we're
All right, we're
back
back.
in the action. So,
Yep. So keep that chain link live. We've got the Deadwood Dirge being pitched to swing in the Rosetta Thorn. Now it looks like they did retroactively resolve the Soul Shackles,
yeah,
but just not allow Ben to play any of them because he's already committed to the turn that he's committed to. So it looks like he hit a Yellow Dirge and a Deathly Whale off the top there. So those cards are just going to be resolved as they would if they'd normally been banished, and the turn will be played just the way it is. So
cool.
just the way it is.
Sometimes that's how it goes. And Hamish, no cards in hand, just being forced to pass back, no arsenal.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
rough because now
huge
now
opportunity
we've
for
got
Ben
three
here.
shackles on board. We've got a Rune on board. We've got that Deathly Whale and Banish. This is a really great window for Ben. This is exactly where you want to see Icelander and just like no disruption.
Yeah. And unlike some of the other games I've been watching, Hamish has also not been able to set up any Insidious skills. So even though he
Yeah.
technically has access to that Stormstrider's play, if he needs to disrupt in a pinch, it just won't be enough without those Insidious skills. So this is just gonna be a painful turn, and he also has a Heart of Fiendel in his hand, so that card will
He's
get
one life
blocked or
higher.
at least be blocked.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's rough. We're going to see a widespread annihilation off the top here. So there's another rune gate in the banish.
yeah,
Ben finally seeing some cards.
yeah. All right,
Now,
and
a lot of
yes,
damage potentially will have to be traded for Hamish to do that setup that you're talking about, like playing out those insidious chills. You don't really, you start to lose a lot of wiggle room the more the game goes on. It does look like they are just going back to retroactively fix that rune chant as well, because that rune chant should have popped on
Yeah,
the previous
because it should
turn with
have
the
come in
Rosetta's
with that
Sword
weapon.
Swing. Yeah. Long day here in Dunners, folks. And, the weather's cold. Iceland is cold. Just got to get through that final game and then claim your
Yeah.
victory. You got to keep it together. Can't
Yeah.
make too many mistakes.
Yeah. Man. Flesh and blood. Hard game.
Hard game, unless you're from Wellington, in which case, easy game.
Interesting. Is that what they say?
That is what they say, and it is also what
All
they do.
right.
Okay, Art of War, here we go.
And I mean, it's about to be a big turn, folks. Hamish, no disruption available to him. Ben
Gonna banish
starting
an
with an Art of
eloquent,
War 3.
gonna banish an eloquent eulogy
Yep,
from
eloquent.
hand.
You, yeah,
Getting go again off the Art of War.
three,
We've got a bunch of attacks and banish
three,
here.
three very powerful. Yeah, and three very powerful RuneGate cards in the banish zone as well. A lot of options open to him.
Sorry for cutting you off there, Yon.
Oh no, that's on me. I'm having slight laggy technical issues, so I cannot figure out when when there is silence and when you are speaking. So I'm trying my best here. Internet is stabilizing a little bit. So, all right, Malefic Incantation.
We have three counters there, so we've got a lot of rune chants set up here. Got a lot of attacks and banish. But we still need to get that initial rune chant in order to play out. Well, that'll do it. So Deadwood Dirge, gonna eat a Soul Shackle, get three rune chants here. This is gonna essentially set him off to the races because now he could play his Deathly Wail. This is going to come in for 6 and 3. Go again. It's going to set off the Malefic Incantations to build two more rune chants to be able to play the follow-up rune gates. And if it does any damage to Hamish, it's going to also create a third rune chant. So here we go. We're going to see that Heart of Fendel being pitched. And that's going to prevent some damage. And unfortunately, it looks like he has to take the rune chants first in order to get lower life, in order to get the life off of Heart of Fendel.
Yeah.
So really, really missing out value there. Gonna block for 3.
And man, this is about to be so much damage coming through here.
Takes the rest.
Now, Ben, a lot of options about how he wants to proceed here. He has 2 rune chants on the board. He can also make an additional 2 if he wishes to send out that widespread annihilation. Or he can just send out the eloquent eulogy. 2 cards still left in the grip as well. And 2 floating. Like, creepers up? So many options.
Your Eloquent Eulogy, you've got Widespread Annihilation.
He is going to shackle.
He's gonna shackle. He's gonna play the Eloquent Eulogy for free. Two rune chants. Although I believe that should be 3, because I think by activating Chain, you do close the combat chain, which would cause Deathly Wail to trigger.
Yeah.
It looks like we're just gonna shortcut here to the block.
Into a deathly well from hand as well. Devastating sequence. So much damage being presented here. Oh my God. Hamish not going to be happy with that. Like on the turn that he couldn't set up an arsenal, your opponent goes out of war and just goes for a massive turn. Luckily, Hamish did manage to keep a card, goes out to 18 for it. Will be able to set up an arsenal and try get his disruption going because he cannot let Ben just have his way with him again for another turn like that. Very scary what Chain can do.
So looks like he's getting some rune chants from the Deathly Wail here, and then here's Warmonger's
Oh,
Diplomacy, just in time. Slap the board down, locking Ben out of playing both attack and non-attack actions. He has to pick a lane and either set up or try and push some damage without using chain.
Yeah, a very powerful piece of disruption, especially against a deck like Chain that wants to play a bunch of non-attack actions, that wants to activate his arm piece, for example, or activate Chain's ability to create these shackles. So, very real opportunity for Hamish to strand Ben with a bunch of cards and also a bunch of blood debt that he can't get out.
We go. Soul Shackle banishes.
Yeah. Only hits one more blood debt. Loses an Artivore though, one of those key power cards that he really wants to be playing, not banishing. So let's see what his follow-up is. He he is he would have declared war, I believe, so he will be able to just throw out some attack action cards, but will be very tricky to give go again or go any wider. Looks like they are just trying to resolve a couple of misinteractions here. Yeah, it is very tough. Like at the end of the day, like once you start making a couple of these misplays, like they can kind of
Yeah.
snowball
You
into
get in your head, and
oblivion.
there's a lot of pressure as well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, like yeah,
Yeah, no
once you make a
judgment
mistake,
here.
yeah, you get like flustered sometimes. Sometimes you're like distracted by the fact that you made a mistake and you like fail to see the next ones. Also on top of two tricky decks. So we're just gonna take it slow, just gonna make sure the game is played correctly, and then hopefully we'll get a fair winner at the end of it. But
Just gotta
man,
take deep breaths, Ben. Just take it slow, one thing at a
yeah,
time. Close the chain when you need to.
yeah. And
Then
it is a
like it's
Sunday.
it's, it's hard because you're so desperate to win and get that. It's
Yeah.
quite a meaty prize. There's a
Yeah,
lot on the
it's a
line, so
very
the
cool.
nerves are high. And like as the chain player, like you are in this position
Yeah.
where you're having to play this quite complex deck, and you're having to play through disruption as well. So like I don't fault him for missing a couple of these small interactions, such as closing the combat chain to get the rune chant back online. But in the finals, you just have to take it slow, one bit at a time, and hopefully, if
Mhm.
there are one or two things that are missed, you can rewind it, and it's all G. Ooh. All right,
All
looks like
right,
we're
and
back
we're
online.
back. Cool. So,
No, we're just gonna check
oh,
that one
and we're
or
not.
two things.
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
all right. So,
So
well,
you lost a
is
Scurv.
there anything else you're up? I lost the scurv. I lost the scurv. I missed out on the office casual top eight for our little internal league. But it is a very cool, fun thing that the LSS offices have. Everyone's got their own like Project Blue deck. Everyone gets some time during work hours to go challenge each other to a game on a ladder. There's some cool prizing up for grabs as well. So it's very neat. It's very cute. One of the
Yeah,
perks of
good
working at
times.
LSS. Man.
Good times
But
indeed.
next tournament, gonna hold nothing back. Just gonna play the most degenerate deck I can find. Crush everyone in
If
the
which
office.
which for you is
That's my
is
goal.
is pummel.
Yeah, which is Pummel Scurv. I have seen the light. I've seen the dirty things that man can do.
I really enjoyed um I've actually really enjoyed playing Dromai in Project Blue, and I didn't really play like Dromai or Briar in any other sort of format. And like with Project Blue, when I don't have to like buy all these legendaries and majestics for classes I don't typically play, I got to just try them out, and I actually really enjoyed the play style. I think at high power levels, wasn't really interested in those heroes, but like when they're in low power levels, I found them really interesting. So I quite appreciate being able to try out a whole bunch of different stuff. So. Yeah, it's a cool little thing to try out.
Yeah, it's very cool to sort of play in Project Blue, which is very much a powered down format and kind of, I don't know, kind of goes back to the roots of some of those heroes that like the way they felt during their sort of limited gameplay. It just feels like a very strong limited deck or like a very strong sealed deck with like a bunch of upgrades. So it's a different feeling and a very sort of exciting format that expresses the heroes and their abilities in sort of different ways without those powerful majestics.
I am waiting for Arachne to be good in Project Blue though. I'm just biding my time.
Yeah, so they're just trying to make sure they clean it all up.
Biding my time
So,
for the
are you,
for
ju-
the
are you
a little bit of a train wreck for us too, like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
trying
yeah,
to get
yeah.
through end of the day. Yeah, yeah. All right, looks like we
Yeah,
are back,
I
folks. Yes, we've corrected that. We've got one rune chant on board because the
mhm,
first Deathly Whale would have triggered off of the chain closing from chain activating, and
mhm.
then the second one leaves one rune chant on board. Hamish is at 17. We have one rune chant here, and Warmonger's Diplomacy just landed,
Mhm.
forcing Ben to pick War or Peace.
And I
Huge
would
amount of pullback for Icelander off that one card, don't you think?
yeah, yeah, like just that card, the ability to disrupt just like a whole game plan with a single card, absolutely huge. The amount of damage that card alone can stop by being like you cannot activate hero ability, you cannot activate non-attack action cards is just crazy.
So it looks like Ben picked War here. So he's going to come in with this Shadow of Ursur, and he's going to banish an Inverted Existence from his hand to give it Go Again. So he needs to remember he doesn't have any non-attack actions available to him on this turn due to Warmongers, but he is able to just ship a couple of attacks Icelander's way, keep the pressure up, just try and deal a little bit of damage. He's already pretty well set up with his banish, and so like he doesn't necessarily have to take a turn off to like activate chain and play something else. Like he can just throw a little bit of damage and wait for the next ability. Wait for the next turn, sorry, the next window.
Yeah, just having an attack that does have go again, despite being under the effects of Warmonger's Diplomacy, is a very neat way to get through this turn. And also generating a rune chant.
So, yep, getting two rune charts off the back of that malefic
Mhm.
both of those malefic incantations. Hamish is going to block for one on the rune chant. He's going to block the Shadow of Ursur, and then we're going to see this eloquent eulogy come in for four. Two rune charts popping. Hamish is going to cover those with his remaining pitch, and he's just going to send two cards at this eulogy. He's just not going to let that hit. He doesn't
Yeah,
want that eloquence coming into play. But invert existence might say that that doesn't matter. He's just going to come in and do some damage anyway. So I think Ben is going
yeah,
to get this eloquence token whether Hamish likes it or not.
yeah. Very good sequencing to play under the influence of war here. Still pushing damage, still pushing those on hits. Very, very good sequencing by Ben.
He took the whole hand, left
And
Icelander without an
the
arsenal
chain
under
looking powerful,
Warmongers.
even under the
That is a
effects
good
of
spot to be in.
Warmonger's Diplomacy. Yeah, yeah. Very impressive how he sequenced that.
Right, Shackle banishes. We get one hit, miss the others. Man, Icelander playing without an arsenal. Full reign here from Chain to be able to play what he likes. I mean, unless he gets a cheeky blizzard to the face, but I'm sure he's thinking about that. Got one incantation on board, couple of options in the banish zone. Still needs a few things to pull it together, but he's getting there. He's getting there slowly but surely. He's getting there. Just thinking through his turn. Arsenal is unfrozen.
Yeah, and I also feel like I haven't seen an Icelander play with no Arsenal for this long before. Hamish really struggling to find the opportunity to set up the disruption, to Arsenal the correct cards to try stop what Ben is throwing out, but things just not quite going his way. Hamish forced into blocking duty, and Ben pretty much getting to do whatever he wants in this game.
So he's going to start with Envelop in Darkness to make a rune chant, getting a little bit of extra damage to his next Rune Gate ability.
Let's see what's next. Still a lot of cards, a lot of options.
He's going to pop the gloves to make two rune chants, getting him up to that critical threshold of three rune chants. That's going to allow him to play the widespread destruction from his banish zone. He's going to activate Chain to give Go Again.
Yeah,
In comes
yeah.
the 6, 7 damage almost. go again, 3 rune chance popping. This does banish cards from Arsenal if damage is dealt, but Iceland doesn't really care about that. She doesn't have one. Hamish is just in blocking mode, so he's going to prevent 3. He's
Yeah.
going to double block this. If that's coming in for 7. It's going to deal 1. That's okay. And comfortably in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Still cards in the grip, 2 floating.
Revel in Rune Blood, creating 4 rune chance, which opens up that widespread annihilation. Machinations of Dominion, giving it go again and overpower. 6
Oh
and
my
4,
god.
ripping the whole hand, forcing Hamish down to life, still with go again into Rosetta Thorn. Wow. This puts Hamish
Oh my god.
down to 5. Still no card in Arsenal. Chain comfortably at 26. What? An invert existence just for insult to injury, putting Hamish down to 3.
No.
Down to 3.
Ben, stop.
Nope. Oh my god, 4 shackles ready at the go.
Ben, stop. He's already dead. Stop. It's so much
Wowie.
damage.
Have to resolve the Malefic Incantation here as well.
Yeah.
Worth noting that.
Yeah.
It'd be
Man.
an easy fix, considering nothing really would have changed much for Hamish there.
Yeah. Ben throwing out such absurd numbers that he is making me lag. Cannot keep up with the stream with the war crimes that he seems to be committing on the screen right now. Man.
It is
What a
looking like it could be an easy wrap up for Ben as long as he can keep hitting some monster turns. I mean, there's always a chance he bricks on his shackles and his draws, and Icelander gets back into the game with an Arsenal. But 3 life, that's an easy amount to get through. 26 is
yeah.
not.
26 is a lot. And Ben is also a deck that has plenty of blues when he sort of needs it. So, man, these frostbites gonna be rough.
Okay, so it looks like they're going to resolve the Malefic Incantation as if it had triggered correctly, which is going to put Hamish to 2.
Mhm. Yeah,
Hamish is just
we're
going to have to
almost
draw
there.
up. Draws up, and now Ben has 4 shackles off the top, full grip. He's even
Yep.
got the Spellbound Creepers. We're going to see 1 card off the top. It looks like definitely Delight. That's a pretty neat one, especially because it's not that hard to get to 2 rune chance. It's looking
Yeah.
like curtains for Hamish here.
Yeah, let's see if Ben can just string together the final 2 points of damage to end this game. Hamish again with no arsenal, doing his best to survive, but the Fab gods have just not looked kindly upon him. He hasn't been able to set up any channel like Frigids. He hasn't been able to set up any insidious chills. He has just been getting mauled by the amount of damage that Ben has been putting out.
Didn't see his setup tools and just, yeah, monster turns back to back.
Yeah.
Wow, that flight to LSS in his grasp, of the Arnite.
Oh, sorry, what was that? Sorry. What did you
Grasp of the
say?
Arnite.
I see. I see.
All right, we're gonna come in. We're gonna activate chain. Come in for 6. Demand some blocks.
He has
And
2
then I just look
cards.
does he have a way out? He's got Soul Reaping, Banish a card with Blood Deck coming in for
Oh, Lord.
another 6, putting 2 more, putting another card into the banish line. He does get a resource off of this, but I don't think he's going to find a way to use that this turn. He's already used his go again. Just no non-attacks in this hand worth being able to use. Hamish having to give up the tunic just to stay alive at 1.
Yeah. And Hamish
Oh,
down to 1, just being walked down at this point. Ben gets to get a full grip again. Hamish again with no arsenal.
This is a single point of damage. Will seal this victory.
Can he close this out? Can he end this and secure his ticket to LSS?
All he needs is just enough to go over the top.
Yeah, all he
Rosetta
needs is
activation.
pretty much anything will do it at this point.
Shackle
Let's go with
banish.
5 shackle banishes.
We get a
I mean, let's
hit.
say he, yeah,
We get another hit.
hit,
Miss. We get a
hit,
cull.
cull.
Oh, oh dear, that might do it. Especially if,
Yeah,
well, I guess you have to be able to take damage if you want to play it as an instant. But I guess we've got creepers available as well, which yeah,
yeah.
there's ways through. If you activate chain into an attack, play this cull using creepers, and then activate Rosetta. It's looking like it's curtains for Hamish. All right, Ben, put him out of his misery. You got to do something. Full grip. 5 options in banish.
Can you imagine a world where he's just giga bricked in his hand, these blood deck cards out, and then he starts burning himself for 5,
Yeah,
and is
yeah.
forced to pass back? Hamish gets his disruption train going, gets an arsenal, Stormstrider's still up, you know? There's
Oh, it is a
there's
bit magical Christmas land, I think.
I mean, hear me out, hear me out. He just has
I
4 what was it, Runegate cards in his hand, and he's just forced to play one out. That's it. That's his whole turn.
If he had 4 reds, yeah, I mean he would probably find it very difficult to activate an attack and creepers and Rosetta, but I think he could just still about do it.
Yeah.
This is worst case scenario as well. Like, really, Icelander pick. Sorry, have a little cheeky peek and let Ben play out his turn. Just go sequence how he just does this last little bit of damage.
And it's always these last of damage.
Activate
The
chain.
nerves kick in even more.
A Deathly Whale, go again for 6. Can't play those
Yeah.
Rune Gate cards until you get Rune Chance.
It's going to the 2 cards here.
Hamish going for the Blizzard. Going for the Blizzard to give a Frostbite, pay 2 or lose go again.
I
If
mean,
Ben can pay 2, he can swing at the follow-up because this is another block out of Hamish's hand. Well, not a block, but it's a card out. So he knows that he has like an out if he is able to pay for this and swing again. Wow, we
Ben thinking it through.
just got to get that 1 damage through.
Yeah. Ben's hand must be quite clunky. Yeah. At the end of the day, when you've just got 1 point of damage, sometimes your brain just sort of starts to short circuit. Can't figure out your lines.
So he's gonna let
Pressure
that
possibly
resolve.
getting to him.
It looks like he is electing to let the Frostbite resolve first. He's going to pay. Oh, he did have invert, but maybe Hamish didn't have targets. I guess Hamish can also prevent with arcane, so it's not necessarily a guaranteed
Yeah.
win. But so he's going to pay. He's going to let that get go again. He's going to have 1 floating. Now Hamish has to give it 2 cards.
Yeah. Lethal. Point of damage coming through lethal. Here's
All
a
right,
2 block.
we've got
Here's
Sink
the
Below
sink.
and another card. We're going to block for 6. We do have go again.
One,
Frostbite and a resource.
one random
Oh,
card
he's gonna
left.
pass. He's gonna give Hamish a card in hand, and he's gonna take a whopping amount of blood debt there as well. It's probably still Ben's game, but wow, he's letting Icelander have an arsenal here. He really can't afford to have a Icelander just fully prevent his turn. All right, Shackle Banishes. We've got hits. We got all the hits, baby. They're all coming in now. We got a huge amount of hits. Shadow of Ursa, really good one to be able to use there, just to threaten that last little bit of life total. Wowee.
Yeah.
Is there one Arsenal in this entire world that gets Hamish out of this? Man, you got it. You got to win. Like, just do that damage, man. You have a lot of
That's a
cards.
lot of blood debt.
Not like this.
I mean, am I seeing hope for Icelander? I mean, after all of that, it's also going to depend on what that random card Hamish got from that sink to put into his
He's
arsenal.
he's just starved of the ability to make rune chants. So a lot of these rune gate cards are just not going to come out the back. If he has a non-attack, he can play this Demigon, or if he's got the Shadow of Ursa with a Blood Debt in hand, he can play that. So he has ways to play some of these cards out. But if he can't effectively use non-attack actions to turn on Rosetta to get go again, he might just be stifled into another attack for 6 or whatever, have Hamish block it out, and then the Blood Debt card. Okay, we got the non-attack. All right, it's over, folks. All right,
Yeah.
we're fine.
Okay,
we're all
go.
good. All right.
Fine.
It was a bit touch and go there for a second.
We should be pretty good here.
Yeah, we should be okay. I mean, there's still disruption that could happen, but it's looking pretty good now.
Yeah.
Right. We've got a
really
Condemned
smooth
to
out
Slaughter. This is a very powerful non-attack, going to give +3.
Yeah.
At the very least, we're going to take all of Hamish's cards here. We're going to play the Shadow. We're going to banish a card, I'm assuming. Yep, there we go. Banishing a card. That's going to trigger the Malefic. It's going to give him the thing. So we're going to force 5 blocks. We can get a Rune Chant out. So now we can play the Eloquent Eulogy. We're going to activate Chain. Hit go again. Play the Eulogy for 1 and 4. This is it. This is where Hamish has to somehow do 19 damage or die. He's going to just take the damage, and that's it. Ben Thomas, after a mountainous game of trying to navigate through ice and cards and fatigue, finally climbs that hill to become the store champion.
Yeah, congratulations to Ben, but man, did that look kind of dicey by the end of it. I was like, Ben has this, and then it was like, oh, what's happening here? Is this deck about to fall apart? But no, he still managed to close the game and secure the win. And man, do I feel for Hamish a little bit. His deck could just not get going. He just got pummeled. He could not set up the way he wanted to. He did not find the disruption he needed. Quite a bit of a low roll for him, and it's gonna leave a bit of a sour feeling, but he needs to be impressed with the performance he's put on today. He has put on an absolutely stellar Icelander performance so far.
Wowee. What a game.
Yeah. All right. Final chats. All right. Welcome back, guys.
What's up?
Hello. Okay, firstly, congratulations, Ben. You are
Cheers,
the store
man.
champion. But before we get further with you, Hamish, holy crap, those were some rough draws.
They were
Those were some
real
rough
hard.
setup turns.
Yeah. It was pretty disruptive. I couldn't really get a grip of the game, unfortunately, just with things that went on. And I should have picked up, and I was on fatigue a bit earlier, and I could have saved maybe 4 or 5 life, but it probably wouldn't do enough.
Yeah, the only
some of
window
those
there
turns
was
that-
just hoping that Ben bricks like he did there, and maybe
Yeah.
there's a chance, but at 1
Well,
life, it's
unfortunately,
you're just
I-
waiting for single non-attack to.
Yeah.
I made the wrong play there. It was probably the best one, which was block to sink and sink away my red, and hoping to get a blue block free, and I did, but he didn't continue, so it would have been better to just block 7 and keep my Polar Blast. But I guess the risk would have been he then comes in for free, on like a Demogorgon from hand, and I just dive. So
Yeah.
And yeah, bit of a slog to get through after a long weekend of games, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'll
I
go
want
on.
to apologize. to the chat. There was definitely a few missed triggers there with some of the Malefics and Soul Shackles. I'm sorry for the trouble.
No, but as you
you're-
mentioned, like it's
good.
quite difficult to play a complex deck like Runegate Chain when there's also the added disruption from Iceland. There's a lot you're having to think about. So,
Exactly.
like it makes sense. It's not always the easiest thing, but you pulled it back, and we had our judges on staff to resolve it.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. Shout out to Jesse. Did a great job.
And how are you feeling when you finally hit all of those Soul Shackle banishes off the top? And you,
They're all here.
all of these attacks, and you've got no way to trigger them. Did you start to sweat?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I realized at a certain point, I'm like, Hamish is a good Icelander player. He knows the Arsenal and Ice Blue, but he's not. What's going on? I'm like, holy shit, I'm like so squishy to fatigue right now. So we had to do that pivot, like trying to figure out what tools do I have left in my deck to push those annoying like chip damage to get that last little bit of life total. I was like tanking on this cull off creepers multiple turns for like 30 seconds, but just couldn't quite get it to line up.
Yeah, like those
Yeah.
last few turns, like even though you were in the lead and Hamish was only on 2 life, like it kind of looked real dicey at
Yeah.
a few moments.
You know, the life total is like looks bad, but if you look at what's left in my deck and my banish,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
dead in 2 turns to blood debt and to fatigue. So it's like it came down to the
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But man, impressive performance nonetheless. You guys, congratulations. I mean, Ben taking it out, Hamish, so close. Just wasn't quite the time, but still second place is still huge, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Hope you guys both enjoyed those prizes. Is there anything you kind of want to say as the day wraps up and this 2-day event wraps up in Card Merchant Dunedin?
I mean, it's just been awesome. We've had like such like a massive turnout. We've just been jamming Flesh and Blood all weekend. Shout out to Greg for getting the sick streaming setup and casting, and you guys for casting it. It just made the event really cool.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see. Like we often heard a lot of times when players would get up from the table, they're taking off their headphones, and be like, "Man, that was a good game." Or, wow, that was a good game. So that was cool to see people actually enjoying the game experience, especially in like multiple formats as well.
Yeah.
So Ben, you're gonna be flying up to LSSHQ.
Yeah, nice, stoked.
Yeah.
And you're going to be facing off against some pretty scary opponents.
Yeah, well,
Oliver Berry from Wellington is one.
so he's locked. Is that the only one so far?
It's the only one I know of. There's probably more.
believe
But
so.
Okay. Sweet. Well, I hear
go.
that guy's pretty good. He has some accolades to his name.
And it's going to be exciting. Yeah, and I look forward to giving you a firm handshake once you get up here.
Yeah,
So
cheers.
congratulations to you both, man. Hope you guys get some rest. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. And great performance. And thanks for everyone tuning in. That's us signing out for Card Merchant Dunedin double header weekend. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Enjoy your
Cheers.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Laters.
catch you later.
All right, well played.